Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce. This is your host, one of your hosts, the first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on the program, first is Greg in the Northern Bay Area. How are you, Greg?
Oh, I'm fan-freaking-tastic. How about yourself, Ozzy?
I am great! Raiders won! That's why I'm wearing the jersey! I mean, also, it's kind of stuff to do with what we're talking about today, but, I mean, come on, it was the Browns, but it was a 5-2 Cleveland Browns team. So, but I'm excited. I apologize for the spike in volume. And also, Flesh Wound producer, Todrick. This is legal. Isn't not?
No,
not Todrick.
I'm just trying to figure out how there's more than one host. Because you said one of the hosts? Isn't there just traditionally one host?
I mean, traditionally,
we'd be a panel,
I guess. But if we really had to break it down, I think it's more me and Greg are co-hosts, and you are the Flesh Wound producer. It kind of,
whatever works.
I see it. Well, I mean, it doesn't really have to work per se. This is one of the stupid shows on the internet that we have out there for people to have fun. We watch, and what we watched was a film titled CB4. Now, Todd, this was a suggestion you had. Now it's a self-described rap-umentary. I love it. So when it first started out, it reminded me of Spinal Tap a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the first 5, 10, or only like 10, 15 minutes kind of reminded me of Spinal Tap a little bit, but then it kind of veered off into its own direction and really made itself stand out. Rather, it made itself different in its own way. And it was enjoyable. It was fantastic. Well, how about your guys' opening thoughts?
I'll let Greg go first.
This is a movie I did not see before. It was the first time I.
Oh, look at that! You said did not see before. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
Had to do it. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. It definitely, like you said, had that same feel. But I did like the turns that it took. And just another movie with an all-star cast of characters. Rest in peace, Phil Hartman.
And I apologize, I didn't go over that cast. Speaking of which, you had starring role Chris Rock as Albert / MC Gusto, Alan Payne as Euphrates and Dead Mike, and Deezer D as Otis / Stabmaster Arson in the primary roles, and Phil Hartman playing politician Virgil Robinson, which just made everything so fun. And I agree with you, it was fun to see him.
You didn't say one of the most important characters, the introduction of a great comedic actor.
Charlie Murphy as Gusto.
It says introducing, even though he had little bit parts in like Harlem Nights and Coming to America, if you look. But,
right. But most prominently in that movie. Absolutely, for sure. And in case anybody listening is not familiar, just a quick couple of lines pulled from IMDb is a guy makes a documentary of the rap band CB4 by following them. CB4 got popular by stealing Gusto's name, background, and image, and he wants them dead. It's pretty much the bare bones meat of the film of what we're looking at.
I don't want to. I hope I'm not ruining a joke, but it's Gusto. I don't know if you're pulling a wielder thing.
Gusto.
Yeah.
I've had 8 hours, over 10 hours of football.
No, that's fine.
4 hours of sleep because for me, like, and I apologize. Like Saturday nights for me are like Christmas Eve, so I'm not able to go to sleep, and I can sleep for like 3-4 hours before I get up, and I'm excited for football. So that just ended. So my apologies, Gusto. You know what it is because when I see that, it's in my Spanish mind, it's the U is gusto, right? So I think gusto. That's why in my head, but it is gusto. You're right, Todd. I apologize.
That's all
Go
right.
on.
Oh, was I saying more? What do you want me to say?
Oh no, I wasn't sure what you were, but just also a fun cameo that I noticed was Gusto's MC Gusto's dad was also the same actor that played Leslie Barnes in Die Hard 2, which was the main assistant guy under Trudeau in the airport. I thought it was fun to see him in another role because I hadn't seen him in any other movies before. So that was cool to see.
Yeah.
And Mary Jane from Half Baked. It was good to see her.
There you go. That's something I forgot about as well. Now, if you guys don't mind, I want to go into one of my favorite jokes of it, and we can get into that, or favorite liners. I know usually that we talk about this beforehand so we don't steal anybody else's, but we'll see. This is going to be fun here. So I died laughing because I work as a courier when MC Gusto gets on the 110 to avoid the real Gusto. I ain't going through that. I ain't going there. The fact that they're able to do the rest of the interview on the 110 in traffic made me I was laughing for 2 minutes straight because that's my every day. So bravo. That was my favorite. What about your guys's?
Oh, it hands down. There's the whole scene is fantastic, but there is a intimate lovemaking scene, and there's a moment he busts out tools to take off the brassiere of the woman he's with, and when the saw came out, I died.
Todrick?
See, this has been a hard one for me because I've been trying to pick one, but like I said earlier, I was a huge fan of this movie. I remember having to travel to go see it because it wasn't like local. By travel, I had to go from Anaheim to Orange, but it was a bigger deal back then. I had to get a ride. It was a whole thing.
Travel? I had to travel
I had to go farther than the close theater, so it was a big deal. But it was funny because when the movie opened, like legitimately everyone in the theater was singing along with the Dougie Fresh Slick Rick song that opens up the movie. So it was a pretty fan interactive experience in Orange. But like nailing a first line, I don't know, because for me it's the music, the parody stuff, and that is what's hysterical.
Yeah, that's why I called when I went into this. I wanted to say what like our favorite jokes were over lines because there was more of a joke, rather like it was a setup of a bunch of jokes rather than a ton of one-liners.
Yeah. So one of my favorite little bits, which is not even one you'll see unless you wait till the credits are done, and that is a callback to I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, where him and Isaac Hayes are haggling over like that. In the original, it would have been a rib, but we bring that back, which I thought was awesome.
Okay. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker is on the list because I have not seen that. So when I saw that scene at the end of the credits, I was like, huh, interesting. And especially since I saw Isaac Hayes' name as the owner, I was like, now, maybe I forgot something. Was that owner, did he have a spot in any place else in that movie?
No, it's just that.
That's why I was like, Isaac Hayes, did I miss? I thought I would remember him.
Yeah.
Probably.
But if
go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll pick one more because it's one that it really made me laugh. There's all the cameos from gangster rappers and other people. But the one where Eazy-E is like, you need to cut that shit, it's too long. When he was known for his Jerry curl, every time I still die.
100%. Also the CNC Music Factory parody made me bust up laughing as well. Like,
yeah.
It's that whole situation.
It's CNC / MC Hammer. It's pretty
yes, right. With it, obviously, but like I think CNC hit more with me because the voice,
the music, and
the music and the lady as well.
Yeah, because it was the combo. Okay, now since we're talking about the music, this is just tells you I'm kind of a yeah.
Sure.
Okay, here's the CD.
Awesome.
They're literally right above me, so I grabbed it. But
did you have to travel to pick up the CD?
No, I did not. But I did have to go to I want to say Walmart for this one. This is the clean version. See?
But they
one
both have parental advisory on? Oh,
no,
wait,
that's the poster.
I see.
So that one has it. Now, the difference is there's different versions of the song, like Sweat From My Balls, for example. There's a different version as a clean version, but they like throughout the movie, they combine both versions. So being obsessive, then I got both. Plus, I get to play Sweat From My Balls with my mom in the room. So what was Oh, one more tidbit since we're talking about the music. MC Gusto was voiced by High C, who's was pretty big at the time, and then Dead Mike was Daddy-O. Jeez, sorry.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned a few days ago we were talking about this that you had trivia about this movie, or
not necessarily trivia, more facts,
or more like interesting facts about the movie.
Well, I gave quite a few just there. I mean, a lot of the cameo stuff, I don't think, because see, that's the thing. You guys weren't into this genre. This wasn't like your whole world and stuff. But I mean, like, you can see this was the closest thing to an actual NWA movie we had back then, because MC Gusto was 100% modeled after Eazy-E. Dead Mike is pretty much MC Ren with a little Dr. Dre. And what was the DJ's name? How come I can't think of it right
DJ's
now?
Name
in the movie. Stab Master Arson.
Right.
Was basically modeled off of DJ Yella. So there's lots of parallels and in jokes. Did anyone catch the alien?
Did anyone?
Alien?
Okay. Well, there's a little joke if you guys pay attention was it the 101? There, if you're watching in the credits and they're showing like just stuff, there's a shot with the alien driving by and it like looks at the camera, and it's like looks like Alien from the movie.
Oh, nice.
I don't recall seeing that. Maybe I freaked out and thought it was like a real alien. So I was like, I don't want to remember this.
There's a lot of stuff if you watch the cars in the background in that movie.
What in the on the freeway? I noticed that as well. Like each time there was a different, which also, I laughed. I had a great joy watching as well because that is usually the case. I'm the guy that always yells, like, "We're going in one direction. Why are we stopped?" I'm that guy. So
the big ass biscuit was pretty funny too.
Excuse me?
The big ass biscuit.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that massive thing of butter.
It's so good.
Man.
It actually reminded me of the pantry in downtown LA, down the street from the Staples Center, where they always give you, I mean, it's not like that, but they always give you like a giant loaf of bread, obviously to split. But that was the kind of place it reminded me of. So I'll get into the ratings right now. If you guys didn't have anything else to add.
I do want to, here's one other trivia bit. What Baba, shoot. The spiritual advisor was also in Rocky 4. He was Tommy Gunn's manager. Tommy Gunn?
That is Rocky 5.
Oh, did I say 4? I meant 5.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Sorry.
What?
I'm 5 over 4, but that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, it is going to be. Maybe that'll be some sort of a special because that's not anything farcical. Because a farce is. I want to talk about a good movie when we're having this program, and Rocky 5 was not a good movie, so I'd be more than happy to have a special. Why Todd thinks Rocky 5 is better than 4? What? And the reason I'm moving away from my microphone is because I don't want to blow out the microphone there. So because that's a lot of what the fuck, man. Pardon my language. Jeez, Rocky 5/4.
4 is just like that patriotic overdone. Same reason I don't like
crazy?
First Blood Part 2.
I wouldn't know. I've not seen Rocky 4 or 5.
I don't think I can be mad at you for that. But going back, Todd, when you said you prefer 1/2 or you didn't like 2, I would agree that 1 is better than 2. Rambo, right?
But when I was a kid,
I
loved 2, but now all I see
2 was
like
all about the action. 1 was about an actual.
It's a propaganda film if you really want to get down to it. Just like Rocky 4.
We totally sidetracked.
I know we totally did, but whatever.
Now I mentioned I was going to get to the rating, and as much as I enjoyed the movie, I think towards the end there was some moments that just kind of knocked me out. I guess like kind of just not knocked me out, but rather like
don't hold back on my account.
No, I'm not. It just kind of at least like seemed like a simple ending. And I'll just leave it at that. Like it just kind of seemed like, oh, all right. Like, I guess if you can say that's the way it ends, sure. Because I'm not looking for like a serious dramatic movie. This is a movie about jokes, but at the same time, those 5-star ratings are reserved for films I think that can be a good movie without the comedy. And that's where I'd have to mark this as a comedy, still very good and entertaining. And I would put it at a 4 for me in terms of my enjoyment level of the moments, humorous moments that I experienced. And the pacing in which that they weren't few and far between. So a 4 out of 5 for me. How about you guys?
I'm gonna let you have the last word since this is your movie. So, sadly for me, I want to give some perspective. Some of the references didn't hit home for me because I was 9 when this movie came out. It didn't resonate nostalgia wise for me as much. The jokes I thought were good. The movie as a just story was very fun, very enjoyable. I enjoyed that of it. But after what we've just seen, we really had some knock it out of the park comedy. It's hard to follow up on the last few movies we've watched. I just felt it did fall short, and I'm gonna have to give this one a 2.5. If it were just the movie, a 3. But just comedy-wise, if I'm rating more of a comedy movie, it had moments, but it was more about the story for me. And I think one of the reasons why it wrapped up the way it did, Ozzy, is movies were so much shorter back then, compared to now where a 2.5-hour movie is par for the course, so. But yeah, I sadly have to say it's a 2.5.
All right.
Well, I actually, it's funny. Ozzy's higher than I expected him to be. So,
poor choice of words,
or perfect choice of words.
It depends on your perspective. I'm a 4.5. It's not perfect. I agree. The ending is underwhelming, but I mean that's the way it was going to end, no matter what you did. But that should have been a bigger thing, like not just like in the small. It should have been bigger. But that set aside, this movie was made for me at the time. Like every joke hits, where I know you guys like a lot of stuff didn't. So yeah, I've been a fan forever. There's another one. This is the definitive hip hop Spinal Tap. There's a few others. Gangster Rap, a mockumentary, still kind of funny. The music's great in that one, but and then there's Fear of a Black Hat, another really that's probably the second biggest. But those aren't for everyone. By everyone, I mean you two might not like those.
Now, I just want to get make a point across about some of the references that Todd you mentioned that didn't really hit home with me. Like Greg, you brought them up. For me, while I didn't immediately it didn't really hit with me at first. And this is just my perspective on it, is that because I'm so familiar with Spinal Tap and I understand like there were, like certain references, like with Eazy-E and the hair, like when you said he was known for that, like I wasn't for sure, but I knew that each, like Ice-T doing his thing and all these guys doing up, like it's like I'm using the translation like of, oh, this is what they're trying to do, by like it's more that I appreciated it because while I didn't catch the references, it felt like a real documentary, and just it was fun to see these guys play into it. And go ahead.
Now, since we haven't put him over, but I love Chris Elliott too, and he's funny as always.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Elliott. Actually, it was funny to see him. I hadn't seen him in a movie or anything in a very long time. And every now and then my DVR will, it'll record a show, and sometimes Modern Family will be after it. And I'll see Jesse Tyler Ferguson. And when I was watching Chris Elliott, I kept thinking like that Jesse Tyler Ferguson from Modern Family seems a lot like Chris Elliott, or rather, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if there's some sort of relation there or whatnot, but it was just funny to see that. But yeah, well, I enjoyed it, and it's available on HBO Max, so you can check it out. I recommend it.
What was your score, though? Did you say your
I
score?
said it was a 4. I thought I said
no, Todd.
Oh, I said no. I almost said 5. I said 4.5. Realistically,
and
it's not a perfect
underwhelming
movie.
was the word I think I was looking for earlier. It wasn't
For the
underwhelming
finale.
ending. Yeah, I would have to your point, I would have expected something bigger. So hope you enjoyed this episode, but we will be back next week. We're gonna watch another film, and you know what? We're one day gonna figure out what the future. Actually, we are coming up on Thanksgiving soon. We have one movie next week that we'll have, and then following that, we're gonna follow it up with Dutch, starring Ed O'Neill, because it's a Thanksgiving movie, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, the episode right before Thanksgiving, because that I think is the ultimate.
I'll have a rant when we get to that too.
Oh, teaser.
Yeah.
We could clip that and use it as a teaser trailer. Coming soon to Flesh Wound Farce. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. The take you never knew you had. All right. Greg, Todd, anything else you want to say before we head out?
No, it was fantastic, but I think I need to go find a buzzsaw. So,
all righty.
I'd like to say something clever.
And there we have it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for Greg, Todd, I'm Ozzy, and we'll see you next week for Flesh Wound Farce. Have a good night.